My name is Dolores Jeanne Lynn Newton, and I was born in St. Louis. Yeah, of course, 1929.
What was it like to be a kid in the 30s? Tell about when you grew up, the house you grew up in, what your parents did for a living.
Well, my dad was a salesman. My mom was always, the mom in our house. And he was always a good businessman, and those days were hard. I forget why I'll tell you why we moved to Denver. I was born in St. Louis, and my mom got tuberculosis. And at that time, Denver was the seat of help for TB patients, and that's how we got here.
So how old were you when you left St. Louis?
I think I was about 3.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So do you remember anything about St. Louis or not too much?
Well, I do, because I lived with my grandma who lived there, and I remember her house very well, and went to church across the street, our Lutheran church there, and went to first part of kindergarten there.
So you have brothers or sisters?
Yes, I have.
Tell me about them.
Had a brother older than I. We were just barely 2 years apart and buds all our life. And then later on, I had 2 precious little sisters.
So when you guys moved to Denver, what kind of house did you live in? What kind of challenges were there at the time? Tell me about what things were like when you moved here. I know you were only 3.
Yeah, but I do have memories. Probably, maybe I was 5 by that time. But we lived in very modest homes, rented, and things were hard in the beginning. It took a while. My dad became a salesman, unless you had that coming up, and he was dynamite at being a salesman. And
what sort of things did he sell?
Yeah, what did he sell?
Well, I remember the Philco products.
Oh, like electronics and things
Yeah,
like that?
Oh, okay.
yeah. But anyway, my dad did a lot of different kinds of selling, and
Okay.
I remember a big marquee, seeing it in California, Bill Newton.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so he
Yeah,
was
I
a
wasn't
big
just
to-do.
kidding. Yeah,
That's awesome.
he was good.
Tell us about rushing home from school to listen to the murder mystery on the radio.
Do you remember when you were younger with
Tarzan?
so
Was Tarzan?
it might have been Tarzan. I'm not sure. April and I were trying to remember of a story
Oh,
you told
my.
where you would be so excited to run home and sit on the floor with your siblings.
Oh yeah,
and
I
listen
know
to the radio.
There were two programs especially. One was mystery type.
What other things did you do growing up as a child? Like when you were in school, what was school like? What subjects did you like?
Well, I really always liked school, always loved my teacher, and I think some of my best subjects were like language and
That's for sure. Grandma's,
my worst were history subjects, but
What were all the
but I
languages-
liked school.
What were all the languages that you learned?
Well, I didn't learn them all, but I worked at different ones. I wish my mind isn't going more blank as we're talking.
It's okay.
German, definitely. Latin, Greek, Spanish, of course. Oh, Spanish, yes.
So what did you do for birthdays? Like nowadays we do cake and ice cream. Is that what you did when you were a child, or did you do different things?
Yeah, I don't think they made as much to do about a kid's birthday in that day. I mean, we thought it was wonderful, but looking back, I know we spoil our kids today more than we had.
What did you do with your family around Christmas? What were your Christmas traditions, and what was your favorite present that you got from your parents?
Our tradition was to go to church on Christmas Eve. And of course my family, my parents had all our gifts wrapped and had them under the tree, and they were ready for us when we got home. So we got home from church, opened our presents, had a wonderful, happy time.
That's awesome. Do you remember any present in particular that was really top notch?
Just about all of them.
Yeah.
I no, not. I suppose, yeah, bicycle.
A bicycle.
Yeah. Yeah, my brother Bill and I both got our bikes at the same time. Schwinn.
So who did the cooking in your family, and what kind of meals did you have growing up?
My mom always did the cooking, and it was just wonderful family meals. Always made the stuff we loved.
Were you guys a meat and potatoes family?
Oh
or?
yeah, oh yeah. And of course, I helped Mom, and my brother and I did the dishes.
Now the Newton family is mostly from English origin, right?
That would be.
Did you have a lot of different cultural food to eat during that time?
Not a bit that I know of.
Okay.
And I just don't remember making much of the English culture. It was mostly we were also from a German background, and I think that got the most attention during the years. Both my grandmas were German.
Oh, okay.
They spoke fluent German.
So I hear that you love peanut butter and banana sandwiches and a glass of milk. When did that start?
I was thinking you were going to say, when is that going to stop? Well, of course, in grade school, I'm sure that was always my sandwich, and I couldn't wait for lunchtime.
Okay, so they're telling me that you used to suck the marrow out of your chicken bones. Tell me about that. Yell at him. I didn't write these.
I don't remember.
So impressed, Grandma.
I don't remember, honey, sucking the marrow out,
Was
but
that
I
something your family
did. I did suck on the bones. I mean, I'd shoot them down to the very last thing that might have been on it.
Were there any recipes that your grandparents gave your family, or any particular dishes that you loved?
Yes, but you know what? I can't recall them. I know there's something special my grandma made. And then my mom made a spice cake that we all loved, and that was my absolute favorite.
So tell me about Dolly and Babe. How did that come about?
I remember there was a period of my life, I don't know if it was about junior high age, where I started getting called Dolly from Dolores. I mean, it was their diminutive of Dolores. And I hadn't thought about that for a long time. My brother is the one who called me Babe, and I don't know. I think it started from Baby Sis.
So I hear that you went to the prom with Billy.
With my brother? Yes. Who would have known that?
April and me.
Oh, for goodness sakes! Yeah, I did.
What was that like?
Well, for me, it was wonderful. He and I were like this. No, whatever we did was either bad or good. My brother got me in a lot of trouble. Yes.
Of course
And I was crazy enough about him to do it. That's what's so awful.
So you play the piano?
Some.
When did you learn the piano?
I think my mom had Bill and me taking piano lessons when we were maybe around 4th to 6th grade.
And what
And
drew
it was-
you to the piano?
And what?
What drew you to that? Or did your parents say, you're going to learn the piano?
No, they didn't, but for some reason, we had a piano, always had a piano. And of course, Bill and I always messed around on it, and And we took lessons and we had a lot of fun together on the piano.
Did your mom or dad play piano too?
No, no.
That's so interesting, because you're so incredible at it.
Oh no, Elijah, but thank you for
That's true.
thinking it.
Very modest. I
Oh,
think you should ask
honey,
more
I'm
questions on
I'm just ordinary.
Well,
But
I think you're
but I play
exceptional.
well enough to enjoy it.
You definitely do. That's for sure.
Did you have any activities or sports or things you'd like to do in school or hobbies you had?
I loved all sports. And when I started out probably by playing with my brother. His buddies would come over to play, and they'd always let me play with them. And I loved it from any sport, just about from the beginning. I love especially basketball.
So I have been told you were voted ideal Johnny girl. What is
That's what that's what my book says. Oh my gosh!
Was,
You
that was
guys,
at St. John's?
that was at St. John's.
And what did that mean? What was that title for?
I guess I was ideal, and and I also was a Johnny. No, I don't know.
What does Johnny girl mean?
Oh, the school I went to was called St. John's. So anybody who went there was a Johnny.
So you were like the MVP girl at the school, the most valuable girl.
Honey, thank you. No, I had wonderful years there. I went there 4 years. That's where my dad went to college. So he saw to it that my brother got there for college. I got there for high school and college. So
So it was a high school and a college?
yeah.
Oh.
Hmm. It was a Lutheran college, see. I went there as a junior.
Okay.
My brother went there as a freshman in college.
Wow.
So,
Did you have any jobs during this time? Anywhere that you worked? Did you work at a drugstore or a movie theater or something like that?
yes. I always had a job of some sort. I worked at a drugstore, and I worked mostly cleaning people's houses. And when I was in college, that's how I made extra money, cleaning houses on our weekends. And
So on the weekends when you were, let's say, a teenager, what was the thing to do with you and your girlfriends on the weekends?
it just seemed, I think in those very early days, I think to get on a bus and go downtown here in Denver, I think that was terribly exciting for us. And then I got a job downtown as a waitress.
And where did you live at the time? Where?
North Denver.
North Denver.
Uh-huh. Right in Denver proper.
Oh, okay.
Well, you know where North High School is? I lived near North High School.
Oh, okay.
When did you start dating?
If you'd call it dating, probably Walther League. Church Walther League. I don't think you ever grew up with that,
I don't think
Elijah,
so.
but that was a big deal in my day.
Okay. How old were
That's
you?
when we got confirmed in 8th grade and
Okay.
then became 9th graders. Then, you know, we were really getting into it big.
And what did you call it? Walther League?
Walther
Walther.
League.
Okay.
We were Walther Leaguers. Yeah, I didn't think about that. That was a big deal in my childhood within our church.
So if somebody was going to come and pick you up for a date, would you guys go to the movies or what did you do?
It was probably just about always movies. It seems that's about all we had to do.
Let's back up then. Tell me about college. What did you you study in college? What did
I
you do?
studied to be a teacher. And let's
And it was
see.
a 2-year thing back then? Was college
Well,
2 years?
that was just it was full high school and the first 2 years of college, and then we went on
Okay.
to the next college to finish up.
'Cause how many colleges did you go to?
I think just one other, but right now I can't think.
Did you know you always wanted to be a teacher, or did you just wake up one day and say, I want to be a teacher?
I don't remember ever wanting to be anything else. I guess I could start like that. And I just remember in grade school as a little girl and getting to do getting to do things with the teacher, for the teacher, even a little teaching with younger kids. It was just a given. I never thought of anything else.
What age group were you a teacher of? Little kids?
Oh,
or
I'd
older
have the
kids?
little kids, yeah. I remember being a 4th grader and I had the first 3 grades with reading, and I got to take them to another place, teach them.
What was the
It was a
biggest
given.
challenge? What was hard, or what was fun about it, and what was hard about it?
Oh, about doing that? I don't remember anything hard.
You must have been
So it
very
must
good
have-
at what you did then.
It must have been all,
Natural.
must have been fun. I don't remember having trouble with the little kids when I was a little kid. I think I had more trouble after I got big. Because I don't know, the kids were different,
That's true.
you know.
So you graduated, you got your degree. When did you meet your future husband?
He was at my school, at my college. His father was the pastor of the congregation. Maybe you never knew that.
I don't think I did know that. I know there's
Elijah.
a long line of pastors
Yeah.
from that side, but yeah.
Yeah, Pastor Zender was our pastor. Therefore, it was a high school college combination, and
Well, it's
my
been
husband.
that way for a while.
My husband Bob's father was the pastor of the college and high school. They're in Winfield, Kansas.
When you met him, what did you think about him? Did you like him at first? Did
Oh.
he annoy you at first?
Oh, I didn't go out with him for a long time. He went out with others. He was extremely handsome, extremely extremely talented as a musician and a singer.
What did he play?
The piano. Yeah, he was something else.
So when you met him, what made you think, I want to get to know this guy some more? What was it about him? How was he unique?
He was quite handsome, and
That's a bonus.
and he was just the guy that everybody knew, and he could do anything, do so many things. He was very well known on campus, and somehow
You snagged him.
I wasn't out to, but
Well, you were the ideal Johnny girl.
Yeah,
so
you were the Johnny girl, so.
You were the perfect match.
you think.
So tell me about your first date with him, or were you just friends and it just kind of started that way?
I think we were, see, in the Lutheran church, dancing was, it's not that it wasn't permitted, but it wasn't looked down on well. So we just really didn't dance. But there at college, some of our students lived in town. And after a big program, they invited us over, and the lights would go off, and we'd have dances.
You knew how to have fun, I could tell. You knew how to have fun. So at what point did you say, this is the guy, this is him?
Well, he was going with another gal there all the time that I was pretty shocked when he asked me for a dance, and after one of our plays that we were in together, and the two of us were the couple in the play. That didn't hurt.
you remember what the play was?
No, no,
awesome.
but in those days it was like, he got to kiss me, or I got a kiss, or whatever. It was a big deal.
That's why you signed up to be in the play, right?
Oh, not at all, and no, but it might have had I known. No, he was pretty good-looking guy and pretty talented, and it must have been. No, it was after the war, because I remember I was in the hospital there at the college. I was having my tonsils out, and his mother went by my room. The door was open, and I heard her say, "Bob, this is Babe." And I raised up in my bed and threw up.
So that's when he knew that you were the one.
I think that's when it happened, yeah.
How did he propose? Did you propose? How did that happen?
I wouldn't have thought of proposing. No, he did.
And how did he do that? Was it a surprise? Did you know it was coming?
I think by that time you pretty much know you're the one. And I wasn't really surprised, no. But I was glad, because it made things more permanent. Mm-hmm.
So tell me about your wedding day. Who was there? Where did you get married? Tell me about
My
your dress.
first wedding?
Yes.
Well, it was here in town. I think it was at, I can't say the name of the church, and I went there to school, and
What did you wear? Tell me about the dress.
it was a full length, and of course I thought it was absolutely beautiful.
I'm sure it
But-
was.
And your mama, I think
That's right.
I believe your mama wore my dress, or she wore some of my wedding stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, it wasn't real fancy or ornate, but I think it was very, we all like our wedding dresses.
What made you pick that dress out?
I do not know.
You just said, I'll take it. I'm getting married.
Was it a big event?
No, I'm sure I really liked it. I knew when I saw it, I liked it, and that was the one, but.
Do you recall it being a big event, trying to find the dress?
Oh,
Or-
sure. Oh, to get to go look for your wedding dress, that was part of heaven.
Did you go with your girlfriends or your mom or
With
someone?
my mom, who was my best girlfriend.
And did she agree with the dress you picked?
Oh, yes.
There was
yeah.
no drama?
Oh, no. Not with my mama.
Who was at the wedding? How many people were there?
In those days, our weddings were still pretty big. It was a church wedding, and I have no idea how many were there, but pretty good attendance.
So you guys are married
We were
now?
well known in that church for, ever since we were little kids, so.
Yeah, after you got married, what home did you live in? What was the house like?
I think we didn't have a home for a long time, because Bob was still going to school.
He was finishing seminary?
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
finishing. It was about 6 to 8 years to become a pastor.
So during that time, what were you planning on starting a family, or what were your plans during that time?
I don't think we planned. I think it was just kind of automatic. You just got married, and everyone assumed you would start a family. So when he was still at the seminary, we had Michael.
Okay. So that was before you moved to Florida?
Oh yes,
Okay.
yeah. We went to Florida with Michael, and I had Tim on the way.
Okay.
So your first child is Michael?
Michael.
So tell me about when you found out that Michael was coming along. What was that like, to find out you were going to be parents?
Oh. Only somebody who has their first baby or any baby. It's one of those unknown, unbelievable joys that you can only have. Only a woman can have. I'm sorry, yeah.
It's okay, I forgive you,
lied.
Gran.
So back in that time, did you know that you were going to be having a boy or a girl, or you didn't
Oh,
know?
no.
Did you know with any of your children?
I don't think so.
Okay.
And if I could have known, I don't think I would have wanted to know.
You had your first baby. How did that change your life? How did that change your relationship with your husband?
Phew.
How did the world change now that you're a mommy?
I don't know, it was always exciting. I always felt excited to have that little guy with me, to take him wherever we went. He was,
So I heard
Yeah.
you moved to Florida at a certain point.
that's where Bob got his first call, was Florida.
And how did
And that was
Florida find
terribly exciting. What?
what's the connection to Florida?
Nothing. See, when you're at the seminary, they have calls for each of the graduates. And at graduation night or day, that's the final thing that happens. Getting your diploma, and then you're told where you call.
So were you
And
excited?
so somehow, he got the call to Florida, which was very exciting.
Were you hoping to stay in Colorado, or were you wanting to say, I'm ready to take off?
Oh, I was ready to go anywhere, and I'm sure he was too. But to get to go to Florida, that was,
Nice and warm.
yeah, I mean, that was a real triumphant.
So where in Florida?
Pasadena, is it Hollywood, Florida.
And where is that?
It's near,
North, south?
oh, it's very south.
Was it on the Atlantic side, near Fort Lauderdale?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
exactly, it's a few miles from Fort Lauderdale. Do you know that?
I've done some speaking engagements out there.
Have you really?
So you're in Florida now. How long did it take your family to adjust to a different way of life? How did that work out?
Oh, few minutes. No, it was it was considered I don't want to say prime call, but exciting. Everybody thought to go to Florida would be something. And it was. He had a mission church there, and started from scratch. And we were there 11 years.
Nice. So
Came back to Denver.
Oh, so did you have any children in Florida?
I think all of them, except for Michael.
You had Michael when you went
I had
down
Michael,
there, right?
yeah, we had Michael.
Tim was in the oven on the way down.
That's right. I think I was about 7 months pregnant when were down there. And then Tom and Tam, I guess I think they were both born down there.
Yeah, I know my mom was for sure. So I don't know if you guys moved in between, but
I haven't thought about it for so long. It's really,
All right. So tell me about your other children that came along afterwards, after Michael. Were they many years apart, or did they come?
no,
pretty
Tammy,
quickly?
no, we had Mike and Tim close, and then we had Tom and Tammy.
So what was it like to be a mother of 4 kids?
It was super.
I bet you were busy.
Oh, very much so, but it was exciting. Yeah, I liked it very much.
So you were still a teacher during this time, right?
I have been a teacher ever since
So
I graduated.
how did you
And wherever I was, if they needed a teacher, and the kids were little, I had got a babysitter down there. I taught at the church that Bob became pastor of, also became a school, and I taught there. I taught wherever I happened to be.
So what was it like as a woman having a career and a family and children? Was that hard, or did that come easy to you?
I don't think I thought of it as being hard. Naturally, there's a lot of work, but I didn't feel oppressed or anything by the extra. I loved it.
So you were just a natural at everything, it sounds like.
Well, I loved being I loved it if I was just a mom at home, but teaching I've always loved.
So I hear that you love scrapbooking. Tell me about that.
Somewhere I saw one of my friends, I think, who was doing it. And I thought it was so wonderful to keep track of your life like that. And it didn't originate with me, I'll tell you that. I think.
You're so good at it though, because I know a lot of my creativity came from you teaching your big tables with all the little knickknacks and stuff. It was incredible. Absolutely.
Yeah, I
incredible.
really did love it, really did enjoy it. It really takes over some part of your life and a great part of your house.
So when you were raising your children, was there any point where you said, man, my mom and dad were right?
I don't think so, because I don't think my mom and dad told me anything. I knew what we were like as kids. I think we were pretty good kids.
Over the years, tell me about any fun adventures you've had. Any trips? Did you go to Europe? Did you do any cruises? Any fun adventures?
You know, we have. And I can't remember. Bob, my first husband, got involved with other pastors who were taking trips to special places. We just got into the gang who was doing those things. So yes, we did get to see a lot of wonderful places. I hope you don't ask me about them. Bob used to love to take us special places, and as time went on, it began to be kind of a popular thing for different groups of married people to go on these wonderful trips together. And we got involved in that, and
Just you and your husband, or you and your whole family?
just my husband. And we did do some things that were extravagant for being our kind of people.
Like what?
Well, I meant just taking a trip abroad when you aren't a millionaire. I mean, we were just ordinary people, and that seemed pretty extravagant.
So what did you and your husband, your first husband, what did you guys do for fun?
Well, we did make a lot of trips together. And you know, as a pastor, you don't really do the same things that other people do.
So your husband now, tell me, how did you meet him?
He was married to my sister-in-law. He was married to my husband's sister. And
How did you meet him?
with their getting married, you know, and then we'd see each other a lot. After, boy, I didn't realize I was so dense. Well, I'm trying to think, you know, if Yael took those trips with her also, but going on special trips became a big thing after we all, you know, after our money wasn't so tight and we could consider just doing something, the two of us, and being a little extravagant, and that became kind of a common thing with your friends. And then if you had other friends who were doing it, they asked you to join, or you asked if you could join.
So how long did the two of you date?
They had been married a long while after my husband died. And then Yale and Lois, when they started, their marriage was not working well. They separated. Man, I'm trying to think of these things. They didn't live together any longer. And Bob had been gone a few months. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think it was between 97 and 98.
Yeah, it wasn't very long that my brother-in-law, we'd been friends. I mean, we both liked each other, and he called up and said he was coming to Colorado. Would I? He was with some other business. I can't remember what it was. And he said he had some time, and would I care to go for a drive or something? That's kind of the way it started. We took a drive up to the mountains, but we already knew each other because I knew what a wonderful man he was, and he was.
So at what point did you say, this guy's really special?
Well, I thought he was special before I ever thought of the possibility of marrying him, but when he came out and we went out together, we were like two peas in a pod, you know, and he was the kind of man that I could, what's the word? Not appreciate, but admire, respect. He was a good man.
So did you propose or did he? I gotta ask that question because it's changing now.
Oh no, he did.
And
Yeah.
how did he propose to you?
I don't know if he could remember. I think he took me for a trip up to the mountains. On one of the trips, I think he kind of, what's the word?
He just said, this is happening.
Yeah, not
This is
like
happening.
No, he. What's the word? It's an easy word.
Propose?
No, he just. I do.
But anyway, you said yes, apparently.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
Were you surprised or did you know he was gonna ask you?
I don't think I was surprised, but then I wasn't necessarily ready to start another new life either. But he was the nicest man, one of the nicest men that I could have ever known. And we had a lot of fun together, laughs, and we thought alike. You know,
So when
we
he-
appreciated the same kind of things. He was a good man.
So when he proposed to you, were you emotionally ready to be in a marriage again? Or how did you feel about that?
I think I was. How old was I?
How old were you? Yeah.
Oh gosh, if you guys would have prepared me to. Well, how old am I now?
90.
I'm going to be 90.
So-
Yes.
Let's
And
see.
we got married in 98.
98, okay.
Hmm.
So just shy of 70? That sound right?
That's probably about right.
'Cause
And
I
we're
think-
exactly the same age.
Yeah, because
So where did you guys live? Did you find a new house to live together, or how did that work?
He came and lived in the house that I was in, but it wasn't very long. It wasn't very long that we moved to Colorado. Was it Colorado Springs?
yep, just north of there, Monument, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
So when did grandkids start coming along? Had you already had grandchildren before you married El?
Oh yes, yeah. Because your mom had you
Well,
guys.
Let's see. You also had
You
Jake and
had
Carmen.
who?
I think Carmen would have been first, or Jake would have been first. One of those two was your first grandchild, because that's Tim's.
Well, you
son,
and,
daughter.
and April are the oldest of the grandkids, aren't you?
We're the second oldest, I think. Because I think it goes Carmen, Jake, April, me.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I think so, at least.
Well, it's not that.
10?
I was going to say 10, but
Somewhere around there.
mhm.
Do you have any great grandchildren?
Yes, but don't ask me how many.
What was it like when you first became a grandma as opposed to when you first became a mother?
That is really an interesting question, but
Did you feel
there were certainly a lot less expectations from a grandma's. In that way, it made it, easier. Of course, my kids were living with me, and I was taking care of their kids.
Going back to Aunt Mare and Aunt Janie and Uncle Billy,
Uh-huh.
you mentioned the two younger sisters, and you guys grew up together. Well into now.
Oh,
Aunt
yeah.
Mare's the only one that's passed away so far.
Yes, right.
And then Uncle
Oh,
Billy.
and Uncle Billy.
And what happened to Uncle Billy? Do you remember the story on that?
I wish I could think what it was, why he died.
'Cause it was
He was
back when
studying
polio-
to be a minister also. Boy,
And then polio came around, right?
was that it?
Wasn't it polio that killed him?
You might be right, honey, but I'm far enough along with my
Sure.
dementia that I've kind of lost that fact.
That's fine. I'd probably lose those ones too. As soon as I get it, I'm gonna start dumping the sad stuff. And then Aunt Janie and Aunt Mare, you guys always kept in touch?
Oh,
And
yeah.
Were you girls
We
kinda
were
like-
always buddies.
Yeah.
Even though I was a good deal older than they.
Oh, that's right. You were
Yeah.
much older. Do you
Bill
recall?
Bill and I were close, and Marilyn and Jane are close.
Okay.
They were always my two little sweet sisters. But
That's awesome. And then I guess the last one I wanted to follow up on, because April told me this, and I didn't know this, but you were a ping pong champion? Do you recall anything about that?
I was female. I don't remember. I'm not sure that I was the female champion for sure.
Did you ever play men? Was there any mixed leagues or anything like that back then?
Not men, but like at college, the guys. Yeah, I played them.
Okay,
Yeah.
very cool.
If I do say so, I was pretty darn good.
I believe it, 100%.
I got some questions here for you just about life in general and some advice you can give to people.
Oh my.
Oh my, these are the tough ones.
Woo, the others were hard.
What would you say for you has been the most important things you have learned in life? The hard lessons that you learn along the way?
That's easy. That with God, nothing is impossible.
Tell me some times in your life where that was really tested.
I don't know that I ever even felt that way. I just If it was a time of heartache and hardship, I don't think I felt, like, oh Lord, how long? Anything like that. The sweet times have always been far greater than the heartaches. I don't want this to sound holy, and yet I don't care if it does, but I think that the way we were brought up religiously, that our faith just prepared us to accept and go with whatever came along.
I think that's a good way to put it.
Okay.
That's a perfect way to put it. If you could go back to the 15-year-old Dolores, what would you tell her? What
The
advice would you give her?
15-year-old?
Yeah, if you could go back to you as a teenager, what would you tell her? What advice would you give her?
I think I liked her pretty much.
You wouldn't go back and say, stay away from that guy.
No, I think I was I had been brought up well by my parents, and it mattered to me. And I think life was just plain wonderful.
You just kind of went with the flow, it sounds like.
Exactly, yeah.
What advice can you give your children and your grandchildren
Whoa, I think it's...
from what you've learned over the years?
Oh.
To me, it sounds like you stay optimistic and
That-
you roll with the flow.
I don't think I ever thought about giving them advice. But I think just what the way we lived, just kind of but created a certain expectation that we really didn't have trials that were beyond what we could cope with. When you grow up in a Christian household, there is that example.
How do you have a successful marriage? Would you say communication, respecting each other's boundaries? What requires for a good marriage?
Well, definitely all those things, but that would require, that would be nice to think that through and really think about the things that do make it happen.
Like what qualities did you have in your marriages that you were like,
he
I'm
had
really
to be
thankful?
He had to be a good man. And he needed to be my religious man.
What makes someone a good man?
This might not come out right, but I think our religion helped us to grow up to be good people, or trying, that we cared about becoming good, faithful, reliable people. And I think faith has a lot to do with that.
What advice do you have about raising children? How do you raise well-rounded children that respect their parents, and how do you do that?
No matter somebody's age, you have respect. Respect is a big thing in somebody's feeling whole. And I was lucky enough to have you in my home.
So you're going
And
to be
have
91?
you be part 90, I guess, huh?
91.
Am I going to be 91? Ask Elijah.
So in your...
I've just really started to get more confused.
Oh, honey, everybody's confused this year. Everybody is. What have you learned? What's the most important life lessons that you have had?
A good Christian, that's what I should say, a good Christian upbringing was priceless.
Your mother and father have passed away, I assume.
Yeah, right.
If they were sitting right here, right now, what would you tell them? Would you thank them for raising
my
you the
gosh.
way they did?
Oh yes, they were wonderful people. My mother did not ever sin. My father was, on the other hand, he was different, but he was incredible. He was a powerful man. The Christian upbringing was that you can't put a price on it. And they were just good, loving parents. I mean, we got spanked, we got in trouble, but they played with us, we had fun.
What would you like to say to your family as they're watching this video?
Woo!
All your family and your kids and all your grandkids. What would just look into this camera right here?
Okay.
And just talk to your family.
Oh gosh. Hey, you guys. I don't know. I don't think you probably realize how much you mean to me, how much fun it's been growing up with you, how you've made my life more rich, more than anything I could want. I love each and every one of you for who you are, what you are. I love you so much that I couldn't express it. And I hope that your life is every bit as fulfilling and wonderful as God has made it for me.